Hey guys, thanks for stopping in and checking out my YouTube channel. My channel is just going to be about me and fixing things around the garage here with Mr. Wilson. So today's project, going to be putting some brakes on the wife's Avenger. She's pretty hard on brakes, but just some of the other projects that we may be getting into around here, of course, would be some four-wheeler stuff. You know, me and my kids, we like to ride and do a little bit of racing here and there, so there'll definitely be some projects with these things too. I gotta do some maintenance on them, some bearings and stuff like that. But like I said, today's main goal is going to be putting brakes on my wife's Avenger. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, I've already got it pulled in, got the wheels and stuff pulled off. So we'll go ahead and show you guys a little bit of what you need to do a brake job. Alright, the first thing you guys are going to need to do is you're going to need to try and compress this caliper here a little bit. The way I like to do it just to get started is I use either a straight screwdriver or a pry bar. And I'll grab this pry bar here, and I normally just kind of stick them in here like this and pry them back just a little bit, and then that will make it a little easier to pull them off. So then next thing you're going to want to do is pull these two caliper slide pin bolts out. Next thing you're going to want to do is pull these two caliper slide pin bolts here out and pull the caliper off. So let's grab some stuff for that. Alright, once you got the bolts out, you can pull the caliper off, and then your pads probably fall out. But you also don't want to let this hang from the brake line. I mean, the weight of it could actually break the brake hose. So I normally set them up here, and a coat hanger through here and up into the leaf spring will normally hold it, or even some zip ties if you got some old zip ties laying around. But that'll just keep it from hanging from the brake line itself. Once you got that up out of the way, next thing you're going to want to do is pull the two bracket bolts out. So get those out and you'll be able to pull the bracket off, get these pads out of the way. Okay, once you got your caliper bracket off, then you can get the brake rotor off, and sometimes these things get rusted on there and they're stuck and you can't get them off. You just gotta grab a hammer, give them a little bit of persuasion. So once you got your hammer, just give them a then they'll pop right off. Of course, if you plan on reusing the brake rotors, it's probably not a good idea to hit the braking surface with the hammer. You'd want to tap up here on the face a little bit to break them loose, but once you break them loose, they'll come off. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to do is take your bracket and you're going to want to clean up all the rust out of here so that your brake pads will slide nice and free. So you can either do that with a wire brush or a wire wheel or whatever you got to clean the rust off of here. Okay, once you guys get your brackets cleaned up, you can grab your new hardware. Go ahead and put your new hardware and stuff on there. Get your anti-rattle brackets in there. And then I'd like to grab a little bit of brake lube. Put a little bit of grease in here where the pads slide. Just to help keep them free. Grab those, and then I normally just slide the brake pads right in there. And you're going to want to make sure your pads move in there nice and free. You don't want them sticking. So both of those go in and move nice and free. Once that's done, you're pretty much set with this. Okay, now that you got your bracket all loaded and ready to go, the next thing to do is to grab your brake rotor. You go ahead and get your brake rotor on. Get that down here. And go ahead and put that on there. And then now you can grab your caliper bracket. Let's get that bolted up. Okay, once you get your caliper bracket bolts tight, and like I said, those need to be pretty tight. You're going to want to crank them a little bit. You're going to want to put your caliper back on, and you're going to need to compress the caliper. If you didn't compress it all the way with your screwdriver, best way to compress the caliper is with a C-clamp or a large pair of channel locks like these ones here. I went ahead and I compressed it off camera because you kind of need two hands and it's hard to do that while holding the camera. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there. Once that's on there, you're also going to want to make sure your slides are cleaned and lubed up, which I'd already done that. We got them right here. We'll go ahead and put these slide pins back in. There we go. Put those in and get those started. Alright, and there you go. We got drilled and slotted rotors on the front of the Weiss Avenger, or at least on one side. Now I'm going to go ahead and go over and do the other side, and you just pretty much repeat and do the same thing. But I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me do it all over again, so I'll just set you over here. Alright, we got both of the front brakes done. We're going to go ahead and move on back to the rear. And like I said, the rear aren't much different. There is just one bolt that is a little bit harder to get to. You can't see it, it's too dark. This bolt right here, the brake line is actually in the way of getting this bolt out really easy. So what I like to do is actually just pull the lower bolt out, and then you can pivot the rotor or the caliper up and just slide the pin out and not actually take this pin out of the caliper. So I'll show you how I do that here. Okay guys, when it comes to the rear brakes, you're going to pull, like I said, you're going to pull this lower pin out. There we go. There we go. Set that up here. Now once you got that pin out, you can flip this up, and then you're just going to slide that over and out. And then, like I said, you don't have to take this bolt out. And then normally I'll use just a piece of sandpaper or something to clean this slide up. And like I said, you're still going to want to clean and grease that slide so that everything still moves nice and free. So, like I said, I normally just set that up out of the way just like you do the front ones. Now the back, you don't have to take this bracket off. This brake rotor you probably can get right. Sometimes they slide off, other times you might have to back the emergency brakes off a little bit, or even just take a hammer and tap them sometimes too. But as you can see, we got that one off. And pull this pad out, and you're going to want to do the same thing with this bracket. Clean this bracket up same way you do the front ones. Alright, you're going to get your new anti-rattle clips And put those back in there. And a little bit of lube. Okay, once you got your rattle clips in there and all cleaned and lubed up, you can grab your rotor. Put your new rotor back on. And then you can grab your new brake pad. Put the brake pad on the back. Alright, now we're going to grab the caliper, and you're just going to stick this pin back in there. You see I already put the new pads in there, got the slide cleaned and lubed up, and you literally just slide it right back in there and let it flip down. Then you grab your other pin. It's been cleaned and lubed, and put it in there. Tighten it up. Alright. Now we got drilled and slotted rotors on the rear. So move over and do the other side. Alright, as you guys will see, I had a little harder time getting this rotor off. Basically the emergency brake shoes were catching on the rust slip on the inside of this brake rotor. And these ones are actually pretty simple. They've got a little rubber plug right here. You can pull this plug out, and then the adjuster for the emergency brakes is in there, so you can just stick a screwdriver in there and back the emergency brakes down just a little bit. That way you can pull the brake rotor off without damaging your emergency brake shoes. So now we got all 4 drilled and slotted rotors on the Avenger, and the only thing left to do now is put the wheels on and pump the brake pedal up. So you definitely don't want to forget to pump your brakes up once you get it down, because a lot of bad things can happen then. So, alright, let's get these wheels on. Alright, we got all the wheels back on, got all of them torqued, and I pumped up the brake pedal on the car. So the only thing I got left to do is drive it. I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by and checking out my channel. Please share, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on what you think I should be doing next, or things to try and help improve my channel here a little bit. Again, thanks for watching and have a good day.